Hey, it's Mike Turner, and today is May 29th, 2021. And I've been getting a lot of people reaching out to me and saying, when are you going to do your next video? Because they are really curious about what I'm seeing in the Boise housing market. Some people are feeling a shift, and that is something that they should pay attention to because the market's been going so crazy in a short period of time. It's like, well, when is that going to change? So I'm going to cover that and more today. The reason why it's been a few extra weeks before I've posted is because May in Boise, Idaho is one of the busiest real estate months there is, and so that we have during the year. So I've been out doing stuff, right? I'm in the real estate game, so I've been busy, but I want to come back now and share to not only what I'm seeing in the charts because I'm watching it close, but also what I'm seeing on the front lines as I list properties and get a gauge of how the market is shifting, okay? And or if it is shifting at all. So let's dig into it. First, like I said, I like to usually go over a lot of charts, but today I want to just keep it simpler because sometimes the charts can be confusing, and I just want to talk about facts that I'm pulling from the charts, and the charts are from the Realtor MLS, so we can see exactly what's going on. Okay, so here's some housing facts in Ada County. And by the way, Canyon County, our neighbor county, is basically similar in the sense that they're kind of mirroring what Ada County is doing. Number of homes sell for today, and I calculate this number, as of May 29th, and I picked everything that's listed for sale in Ada County, including new construction. But I took out the ones that the new homes that are actually not available to move into. And so I have about at 500. Now there's a lot of ways people calculate inventory. The way I did it is at 500 to help with these numbers because I just did a simple, I didn't take out like mobile homes and things like that. Okay. All right. So number of homes for sale, price under 350,000, 27, 5%. So there's only 500 homes for sale in the entire county. So that's all of Boise, all of Eagle, all of Meridian, all of Cuna and Star, Idaho. Okay, so all these different towns, right? And we have 27 are priced under 350,000. Isn't that crazy? That's 5%. So I want that to kind of sink home because that is part of what we're dealing with in this market. There's just hardly anything for sale in a what you might call a more affordable range. Okay, number of homes for sale is priced over 1 million. So I have that at 94 homes as of today, right? So that's about 18%. So way more homes for sale over $1 million than there are under 350,000, like way more, right? So I find that interesting. Even if you just take it of the homes for sale listed over 500,000, it's near 70% of all that's listed for sale. So really, when you talk about affordability in this area, this is where it's hemming from. Like it's like there's not that much for sale, and what is for sale is skewed towards the higher end of what's available. Okay, and then also new construction. So a lot of times people who are driving around or seeing the Boise market, either they live here or they're just visiting, will say, man, I see new construction everywhere. Isn't that going to be an issue of oversupply, or eventually that's going to lead to an oversupply? Well, I can tell you in a year-over-year change, new construction, because there's been so much demand and pressure on inventory pushing it down, new construction inventory is down 75%. Okay, 75% from last year at this time. So basically, it was at 600 homes available for sale. New construction last year. Now it's like 100 and something. Okay, so way down. And so even though there's a lot of new construction, it's not keeping up with demand. And so we do not have an oversupply of new construction coming on. In fact, we could use some more, especially more affordable homes being constructed, which is a different topic altogether. Okay, year over year average price change for resale homes in Ada County up, drumroll, 49%. Boom. That is just crazy. So if you own a home in Ada County, congratulations. It's worth a ton more. And if you don't, I'm sorry. That was a big jump that you missed out on. But what's going to happen moving forward? Because you can't go back in time. You can only move forward. And if you're trying to buy a house, you're trying to decide if it's right for you, there's a lot that goes into that, right? And but demand, so there's a lot of talk out there, like what's driving things? Is it the low supply, that's causing all the markets, the home prices to go up, or is it demand that's keeping, it's the cause of all this being high demand? And really, it's kind of a chicken and egg thing. It's all semantics. But what you want to know is, so far, we haven't seen a significant change in demand in the Boise area with people buying. It's similar to last year. It's similar to the years before, with a little slight increase. So demand is staying steadily hot. Okay, we haven't seen a change yet there. So what does all this mean, right? Because it means something. You can't have this kind of jump and these kinds of issues without, because overall inventory being down is down 75% over year over year. That's resale and new construction. So what does all that mean, right? So here's the questions that I'm getting a lot from people. So I just thought I'll just cover it all in this video. Okay, so here we go. Let's get these questions going. Do you see a shift or a slowdown in the Boise market? Yes. I do see in some pockets in the last 30 days. So I'm talking it's end of May, and what I've seen on some of my, and here, give me an example. 3 months ago, listing a property in the 300,000s, let's say mid 300,000s, I would get 10 offers, and within 2 days on a listing. Okay, and now what I'm seeing is maybe 2 offers, okay, and a lot less people through the house. And so that doesn't necessarily mean there's a drop in demand. It could, but I think what it means is that we've reached such a high threshold in pricing that we just ruled out a lot of buyers who weren't able to buy anymore. So I mean, when the prices go up for so long, eventually, there's going to be less buyers as you go up, right, in price. And so that's what's happened in the Boise market, is that we've basically gone up so quickly, so far, that there's just not that many buyers that you can buy a 1,200 square foot house in Nampa for $350,000. They were, they could buy it all day long at $300,000 maybe, but not at $350,000. So that's what's happened, So because 6 months ago that same house was at $300,000, and that's not an over exaggeration. So I'm seeing that. So what I'm seeing with prices, that I hear what I'm predicting is that, well, let's get to the next question, because that's what it talks about. Do you expect home prices to keep going up this year or next? Well, yeah, but not at the same rate. So right now we're kind of like at this, well, I guess it's more like this, right? It just jumped really fast, our home prices. And now what I'm expecting it to do is start to almost plateau, okay, but not quite. So, but yeah, so I think it's going to hover. Now, you see a lot of homeowners are like, wow, look what I can get for my house. And a lot of people throwing their house up now, seeing what they can get. And some of them are not selling, right? Some of them are having to shift their price down. We're just seeing that for the first time. So, which is a good thing, okay? Because the market is so crazy for this last year that it's good that it actually balances out a bit, okay? So I still think that home prices with our low inventory are going to hold at a minimum, and likely, waver up and down depending where it is, depending on the price range, the neighborhood. All those things play a factor in all of it. But overall, I don't expect we're going to continue to see these double-digit increases month after month, kind of a thing. Okay, so and that's because I'm starting to see that and I'm talking to a lot of realtors too who are also seeing that too. It's still good, it's still great, but it's not as frenzied as it was. Okay. Interest rates. Let's go to this next one. Interest rates are rising. How will this impact the local market? And yeah, interest rates have been kind of fluctuating up compared to where they were. And this is a major issue to watch, right? Because if interest rates shoot up, it's going to be like a big wet blanket on the market because that $350,000 house is going to go, when the interest rates go up, it makes it like a $400,000 house, okay, very quickly, as far as what you envision your mortgage payment to be, because it's all mortgage payment driven. People are getting approved based on how much monthly payment they can afford, and when interest rates change, it impacts them significantly. So, but right now, it's nothing to be, it hasn't seen enough of a significant change, and I'll show you what I mean. So here's the Freddie Mac, mortgage rates, right? So like at 30 years in the blue, this goes back to last 3 years. And you can see that even though we've had a couple of jumps in, the last couple months, it's still crazy low, right? It's still crazy, crazy low. So it's not an issue yet, but it will, but just not it's not a short-term issue. It's a longer-term issue, and we still have to see what happens with interest rates. But that's something to watch, of course, and I will be watching it. But right now, it goes up and it comes back down. It's still, compared to where we were, in the past 2 years, it's still awesome. And frankly, that's what's helping keep the demand strong, because people are like, even though that house in Nampa has gone up from 300,000 to 350 with low interest rates, it's still more affordable than the house. If the interest rates were 4.5% and 300,000, it still might have a higher mortgage payment than it was if at 2.5%, interest rate. So at 350 or even 400,000. So their interest rates can play a huge impact. All right, not to talk too much about that, but here we go. Back to this. Are we in a bubble? Yeah. Well, I mean, we're definitely in this, surge. Okay, we've had this surge going on for a while, and so yeah, we are having some sort of significant, especially in the Boise area. I mean, Boise is at the top of all metros in the United States as far as like year-over-year price increase. I mean, we're right at the top, and so yeah, that is something that's very noteworthy. This pandemic has really allowed more people to work from home and more people to have the ability to move here, okay, and work and keep their job from the big cities. So we're seeing that. And but will this bubble burst, right? So that's the second part of this question. I mean, because you think you're in a bubble, eventually it bursts. Well, what's different now, right? Before, last time we were in a bubble, is that we had really high inventory and then demand dropped off. Right now we have high demand and low inventory. It's like the opposite still. So what we need is demand to come down and inventory to rise, okay, so that you can have a bubble bursting, okay? And so eventually the market will shift, the market will correct, the market will do something, because it can't sustain, record growth, over indefinitely. But we haven't seen the full shift yet, okay? So it's cooling, but still crazy hot. That makes sense. It's still like gonna burn you if you touch it, but maybe not, 3rd-degree burns like we were having the last few months. Do you expect home prices to fall soon? No. Here's what I feel about home prices. I feel like they're gonna be kind of holding, right? And we talk about the county, right? This is like the whole county. And there's different neighborhoods right now that have pushed too high, and that I think they're gonna correct in some cases, or at least cool off or plateau, and then maybe even shift down a little bit. That's totally possible. But overall, I see the home prices holding, because again, we just have such low inventory and demand staying high. People keep moving here. So I feel like the market's not going to crash, with home prices. And even if the market did start to crash and demand dropped off completely, tomorrow, that it still takes a while for home prices to fall. It could take a year or more, because you have inventory's got to climb way up. Okay, so in the short term, if you're thinking about, trying to time the market and um, trying to get the max out of your home price at your house, and you already were planning on selling anyway, then yeah, right now is a good time to think about selling because I think you're at the top. You're in a really great spot to maximize your equity in your house. If you wait a year, is it going to be worse? Maybe. If you wait 3 months, is it going to be worse? A little, maybe a little. I don't know. It could be even a little bit better, but I don't think it's going to be better in the sense of you're going to get more offers. There's going to be, even more of what we saw in the last 6 months. In the last 6 months has been frenzied. Now I feel like it's just going to be more steady, but still way, way, way into the seller's market. Okay? I don't know if that explains it all to you, but it is a totally neighborhood driven, but at the same time on a macro level for the county or this Treasure Valley, I see prices holding at a minimum holding and could even kind of creep up here and there on a macro level, but your neighborhood could see a hit on what it was getting last month compared to what it's going to get in a few months. Okay. All right, let's see. Do you expect inventory to rise significantly due to these new high prices? I do expect inventory to rise because of these high prices. Throwing the word significantly? I think it's going to be gradual, right? Because it takes a while. With high demand, new things come on, great. If they're priced right, they're selling. If they're priced really high, they may not sell. But as more people try that, then yeah, your inventory is going to grow. So I feel like we've reached a point in pricing where people who weren't even thinking about selling are thinking about it now, right? Because it's just wow. And some people have the ability to move based on the pandemic, right? Being allowed them to work from home. So they may now choose to the same reason why people came to Boise because it was affordable, may say, all right, I did well in Boise. Now I'm going to move to somewhere else that may be more affordable to them. So I do expect to see some of that for the second half of this 2021 year. That should help with the inventory issue. We all could use more inventory, see more inventory in the market. It's super hard for buyers still. Like I said, under 350,000, there's only like 27 homes for sale. And that's trying to serve like a half a million people. No, it's inventory. We need to see inventory rise. So that's a good thing. Is Boise heading for a market crash? Okay, that's the big question. I've kind of already answered that in different ways. I don't see a crash coming. We just have too many people moving here, right? But we have an affordability crisis, okay, and we have a supply of homes crisis still going on, and so both of those are kind of like acting against each other, right? So the supply crisis is affecting the affordability crisis, right? So it's just, but here's what I do feel like the frenzy is cooling, and so I'm not expecting a crash, but if you expect the market to keep going up, up, and up, and not to change, I think you're going to be surprised, negatively, because it's not going to keep being this hot. However, if you're a homeowner and you're not ready to move and you're worried that next year the home prices are going to be way lower, the answer to that is I think you're going to be okay. I don't see the prices crashing within a year. Okay. Now, eventually prices will come down in Boise. I don't know how. It could be 10 years from now. 10 years in our past was 2011, and we were at our market bottom for this, during that recession. Okay, that's when prices hit their lowest point. 10 years ahead, now we're at the highest point. It might take another 10 years for it to get to another low. I'm not saying it's going to go back to where it was, but it could be that long, or it could be a couple years. Who knows? But my money's on, it's like overall, I think Boise's going to have still a good 3 to 5 year run because there's just people moving here. But affordability is going to be a major issue. It still is. And so I'm going to keep talking about that. But right now, there is a slight shift going on. So if you've been thinking about selling and you've just been waiting to do it, you might want to look at it harder. If you're going to look at buying right now, it can make sense if you're paying more in rent. Then, you know, still this is going to be a healthy market for a long period of time because it's a growing market. We have a good, you know, the unemployment's really low. Overall, Boise's really a good spot to be if you can afford to live here. But that's getting tougher and tougher all the time. All right, so that's it for today. If you have questions, reach out to me. I hope I covered the questions you had. If not, send them my way. I'd be happy to address them. Take care and enjoy summer. Here we are. I can't wait for the nice weather. Take care.